Hi, you're welcome back. Clip 8C, John Laing PLC. Continue from clip 8B. Just to read a little article here on Market Watch, which might clarify a little bit about John Laing. A wind farm operator has encountered problems with not enough wind. So John Laing, the UK infrastructure investor, has put on ice its investment in renewable energy projects in Europe and Australia because it isn't windy enough. Oliver Brose, John Laing's chief executive officer, said we experienced operational performance issues on our wind assets, mainly driven by low levels of wind. Bruce said that meant that its wind farms aren't generating enough power as expected. Shares in the company fell 5.57% down to 359.6p. Is all sterling, trading in London last Thursday, and this is Tuesday, the 26th of August 2019. The comments were made as John Laing reported an 80% plunge in first half earnings. Pre-tax profit for the first 6 months ending the 30th of June 2019 fell to £35 million sterling. Pound sterling. Everything's pound sterling. If I say euros, it's just force of habit. Right, to $45.5 million, and this is genuinely dollars, from £175 million sterling a year earlier, when it benefited from a one-off gain of £87 million from the sale of an asset. Now, if the asset was properly valued in the balance sheet, they shouldn't have that big of a gain. They obviously got more for it than they were reporting in the balance sheet, but that's normal in accounting. It's not a big deal, right? So anyway, that's the fall. 35 million sterling to 175 million sterling. Profitability was hit by 66 million write-downs on the company's renewable energy assets in Australia because of transmission problems, as well as a 55 million write-down in Europe because of lack of wind. So we're right with our calculations. I want to confirm that now for everyone. We can rest easily. 55 million is the total write-down for Europe. However, John Laing has completed a €75 million investment in this is what it says here now. USS. I don't know where that is. It looks very like United States. I don't know. In a USS wind farm post-period, that means after the close of the accounts, and has made its first foray into Latin America, where it invested 62 million to buy a stake in the Colombian Road project. So, fair enough, that's basically it. So we see here now that he appears to be still investing in wind in America. So he's a glutton for punishment. So he'll have to learn the hard way over there. I don't think there's any difference in America, as far as I know. Parts of the Great Plains are slightly windier, but anyway, I normally wish someone good luck, but I won't be wishing him good luck on that if he's investing after all that losses. Perhaps, however, they invested last year in 2018 before they realised this, and now they're stuck. That could be the case. Anyway, the accounts they have produced is for Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, and there they are. They're approved on the 31st of the 12th 2018, and the number is 470914. There it's there for you, 470914. I can see it in the monitor, and when you're using a camera, you tend to look into the monitor to make sure you have everything in it. You should look into the viewer, into the lens. So anyway, that's the set of accounts for the Republic of Ireland. And just to clarify again, I think I used euros instead of megawatts. This is the megawatt capacity here for Europe, right, Germany, and here is the megawatt capacity 30 for Ireland, right? And one of these is a proportion. He only has 33%. I think it's this one. Anyway, that's the capacity. 182 megawatts in the whole lot and 30 in the Republic of Ireland. It's actually 29.7 to be exact. So if we divide 29.7, those questions over this, by 182, we get 16.32%, and that amounts to 8.9 million. And that's euros now. We're into euros here now because you're dealing with Irish in the EU. Right, so the value of the wind farm is 66, and they're taking 8.9, for we expect it to be 57.1 in the next set of accounts. Okay, so that's the write down that they're taking a hit on. They're just saying good night. So that's a cost to them. I'm sure it's the same in Germany and everywhere else. It's 55 million, but anyway, it's 8.7 in Ireland. So now we look at some of the things. The amount they got for their wind energy. They divide the amount they got for wind energy alone and to take that away from the PSO and other subsidies. Now, as I said before, I can't understand why they're getting the PSO, but that's it. So there's the figure, 4111743. And we work out then, I believe the cost when you don't include the PSO levy is about 69.7. It's roughly about that. The reason I'm using 75 is I include the PSO levy. But 69.7 multiplied by the number of hours in the year, multiplied by the capacity of the wind farm, and that gives me 18 million. This figure here, 146,400. Now, by dividing, that's what would they'd get if the wind blew constant at full speed. So by dividing the figure they got, dividing this figure that they would have got into the figure they actually got, we get the load factor of 22.6. So that seems to be correct. Now that would make a lot of sense because that was not last year. That was 2017 up to the end of March 2018. So that would be mostly 2017. So 22.6%. Okay. Now we've looked now that if that was 20%, which it was last year, they'd be down to 3629. See that 3629281, right? And that'd leave them a shortfall of 481,600. Shortfall. There'd have very little change left then when they pay their interest and everything. Okay, so you have that now. Understand that. I'm able to work out from what they actually got and how many hours and the capacity and all. I'm able, and to work out that they got 22.6% of a load factor. Spot on. And then what did they got with the 20? So that's a loss. And what they'd have left. Now we're not talking about the derivatives here. That's what they'd be short. 481,000 euros. If last year, what I'll anticipate they'll be last year. Now, if we take what they actually profit they made and take that loss away, we get what they'll have this year anticipated as 169,400. Very, very small. And if you work out that's 0.26%. Or 0.00026. Now maybe there's a note wrong there, you can check that yourself. 0.26%. I actually think it should be 0.00, but work it out with a calculator. In fact, I have one here. So 0.26% multiplied by yeah, I think that's better anyway. It's all done hurriedly there, but 0.26% is the return they got on 66 million. So that works out at 26 cents in every 100 euros spent. 26 cents in every 100. That's an unbelievable low return. I mean, they're almost at a loss. Okay. Now, the other thing then is if we take what they got their total revenue in, and take away the 41111, we see that there's a figure there for 1.7520. Right, so 1.7520, and if we divide that by 8766 by 29.7 by 0.226, the load factor, and we can work out that the amount of megawatts that was produced that year was 58839. Okay, 58839. Now, they say they got, I think they said in the accounts, I may have said that earlier, they acknowledge a receipt of 1.4 million from the PSO, and here we have 1.75, but it mightn't be exact. But the main point, I was considering at the moment for a while, that this would be 29, this would work out at 29 euros per megawatt hour from the PSO. So that would have added this, that would have added the total receipts of 99 euros per megawatt hour. Now the normal rate I've been quoting in all my videos is 75. But I'm inclined now to the view, the way the PSO levy is calculated is a post as it's ex post and ex ante. In other words, it's worked out a lot later. You don't get the check for a long time, and it's not necessarily on the accounting period. And I'd say when they get that check, they just put it into their receipts, and that's fair enough, because a new wind farm, there'll be a bit of a time for it to come through. So there was also a 201,000 commencement charge, whatever that was about. So this might not mean what it says. This could be for several years. So we're not just sure what that is, but it probably is not just for this accounting period, and that would remove that confusion. How they could get 1.4 million from this PSO levy, I'd say that maybe for 2 years and maybe a little more. We just don't know. It'll require a bit more further looking into. Now they quote in their accounts freehold land as infinite. I don't think they own any land, but that's what they have it in as anyway. And they give the life of the turbines as 25 years, and they also show profit and loss account reserves of 459,000. So just to talk about reserves. Reserves are the profits and losses back through the years. So if you were trading like profit and loss of 10,000 a year over a number of years, you could have maybe only 20 euros of reserve. The reserve is what you carry forward each year and into the balance sheet. The balance sheet figure is all your profits over the years, whereas the profit and loss account is only for the immediate year you're doing. So there's that figure there. So this is all small potatoes anyway, irrespective. Now, just to talk about derivatives, they say in their accounts derivatives are for interest rate changes, and that makes a lot of sense because interest rates can go up and down and they can catch a company out, and they do use derivatives to hedge against those, and I wouldn't take issue with that. But they're not a cash item, and I've checked that out. You can't pay interest rates or other bills out of it. They're not a cash item. They're a bit like if I had a cow and the cow calved and my value goes up, of my stock goes up by the calf. You still can't actually, you don't have that money till you sell the calf. Now, the other thing about these derivatives is we have found instances in accounts where they're negative, where they're a loss. So these could be a loss next year. You know, so they're not really a proper win thing. They're a business tool, useful in instances when used correctly, and I wouldn't take issue here. They're probably using them correctly here. So they're all about interest rate, because interest rate will cause a lot of problems. Now their loans are bank loans 45 million. Bank loans 45 million. Parent company, that's John Laing, 21 million. And that's 66 million. Now, if you multiply that 4.5% interest, you get the exact amount of interest they paid. So that looks to be what they paid, 4.5% interest. Now, if they paid, I worked out there, 5.49 interest, which is a 0.9% increase, not even 1%, they'd be going into a loss. So they are severely impacted by a rise in interest rates. And that's an example in other areas of the economy. A rise in interest rates will play puck where there's play hell, or what, that's the word we use in Ireland. It's going to be very damaging. So they have hedged against it, but that hedging is only for a year or two. I mean, that can't last forever. So again, they're sailing very close to the wind. There's a wee bit of doubt there about those PSO levy. That's the Public Service Obligation levy, and I'd say that next year it'll be a lot less. It'll be very interesting, but it's very unusual to see that they're paid to the wind company. That's news to me. So they say they have a hedging reserve of 1.4 million. So it's not much, you know, when they have such bills to pay. That's the reserve they have, possibly built up, whatever way they have it done. You know, it's 1.4. I presume that could change. So just put in there for completeness. So that's otherwise. Now, only for that PSO, they'd be making a loss, of course. So I think that's everything. It's clear anyway that the business model of the wind industry is build, sell to somebody like John Laing, and they run it as a charity. And I think the significance of this is that John Laing is saying, I'm sorry, we're not a charitable organisation. We have a situation at the moment were it not for charity given by the ESB, SSE, National Toll Roads and many other, this whole thing would have come tumbling down long ago. And hopefully we're getting to a situation where these companies will soon see they're going to lose their shirt. I mean, Sean Quinn lost on derivatives. He was one of the first to build wind farms in Fermanagh. And they don't seem to be a lucky thing to get into at all. So they do tend to show anyone that gets into them that they can't count. It doesn't take great expertise to do this counting, but wind is different in many ways. As I said, it differs from the things John Laing would be building, in that, I use that crude analogy, you can't catch a lump of wind or a lump of electricity and put it into a bag. It doesn't work in that way, and it has to be balanced. The amount of it or the contribution it's making is very, very doubtful if it makes anything. So that's John Laing. I hope I helped away and cleared up a few things there. I keep saying I'll not come back to him, but needless to say, somebody will come on with something. So I'm getting a great response. People are supplying me with information, and we'll deal with it as the time goes on. And hopefully now, if there is anything wrong with this, I'll go back over and I'll correct it. So I'll see you in hours 14.5, ideal length for a video, and I think I got everything fairly clear there. And thank you very much. We'll see you back whatever I'll come up with next. This is, I believe, this whole electricity thing and pylons is environmental terrorism. That's what it is. I've never known people to be terrorised about anything, and they are terrorised, and they're genuinely terrorised. So we'll have another look at some of the other things later on, and other stuff as well. So good luck to you now, and thanks very much for tuning in to Real Clear Educational, Not Fake News channel. Thank you.